Okay, sick. Okay, today I'm going to be going through how I made one of my songs. I've yet to name it except for calling it 𝗂𝗶 original stuff. I'm just going to be going through how I made it, some of the techniques that I used, and just kind of breaking it down. So on Ableton, this is like my Ableton, it's a free version. Actually got like the free live version, you can see at the top. Because I'd be budget like that, I'd be very budget. Now there are certain parts that's missing from it because transfer it from my other computer, this one. But there's a few bits missing, but you still get the idea. Now, we're going to do the melody. And melody is basically just a simple piano piece that I kind of wrote, and I'm just going to show you the effect I put on it to get it the way that it sounded like it did, and a little bit of just like how I wrote it. So we'll listen to it once through, and we're going to listen to it without the effects on, just so you can get a vibe, and then afterwards I will show you all the effects. Now, this is it. So the way I kind of just thought, like, this is kind of nice melody, but it definitely needs some sort of like added ambience to it. I thought it was quite a nostalgic sounding melody, and so I kind of wanted to work on that nostalgic theme by putting certain effects on it. And the first thing I put on was chorus. Now, I didn't put a lot on. The dry wet is basically just like showing how much of it you want. Not like the loudness, but how like wet it is. I don't know if that's how they call it. But honestly, putting a chorus on does two things. It kind of gives warmth to whatever instrument you're putting it on, and it also kind of gives a slightly more like nostalgic, nicer kind of feeling. So hearing it with on, you're like, oh, sounds a bit nicer. And the second thing I put on was a EQ, and they have preset EQs, and so one I use quite often if I'm trying to go for a nostalgic theme is Midnight. And now Midnight basically takes off all the low end, so it kind of gives it this like high pitch kind of like radio fuzzy kind of noise. So you hear it without, and then with Midnight it sounds like this. Kind of gives it that like old crackly radio feeling. So the next thing I put on top of that, talking about that crackly feeling, was snores, and it basically just kind of puts a bit of grain on your instrument, again to kind of add to the sort of like old aesthetic that you might be going for. Now the last one I'm going to show you is compressor, and all that compressor does makes it louder. It sounds really stupid, but it just makes it louder. It just gives your instrument more body. So without it, it sounds like this, and with, it just makes it louder. Now that's just the melody, that's the piano. Yeah. I always forget that camera's back there. And it is back there. Okay, now the second part that we're going to go to is the drums. So we're listening through to it, and this is what it sounds like. What I kind of came up with just for the kicks was just the next thing that I did was just the snares and the claps and everything. All it is for the kind of main two kind of like claps is that you just lay them up with other snares, just give it a bigger sounding noise, and also just to be like, oh, that's the clap, and not just like a little snare fill. Now the second component is the hi-hats. Now, simply for this beat, I could have just done a very, very simple kind of pattern of 4, 4, 4, and you know, then just repeated that all the way through. Which is not that it doesn't work, it does work, but it's quite boring really. You just want to make it unique. You know, whether it's even just having just a slightly different like segmented pattern. So here, instead of just doing 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, you've just done, we can just see that you just added you've added like a little 3 here, and that just really changes it up. With all of that together, the kicks, the snares and claps, and the hi-hats, you have the main kind of components of the beat. Now, there are some other components in this pack that I really liked. It had this small little jingle, this weird scratching noise, this weird rise, another weird noise. Now, adding these little components and these noises in, you'd be surprised how much it kind of really makes a kind of a beat stand out. You know, from a normal beat to one that's like, oh, it's just a bit funky. It adds a bit more like uniqueness, adds a bit of soul, makes it recognizable. You know, because a lot of these trap beats are very, very similar in structure, and you're going to want to add in little components that are going to make yours stand out from others. And adding interesting noises on top of like where claps and kicks would be just emphasizes it even more. And honestly, it just really works with the kind of uniqueness of your beat. Now the last section are these rides up here. Now, one thing that I learned was that if you really want to give your song some kind of bounce, when you're doing your hi-hats and your percussive bits and all that stuff, even rides, if you're doing a simple 4/4 beat, as in the sense of that, then a really good little tip is that when you're doing it, every second hit, you want to make them a half volume. You want to make them half the volume of the next one, because then it really adds this sort of like, and this really basically just gives the hi-hat some bounce. So you can hear it now. Now, if they were all the same, it's not that it would make so much of a difference. You'd be like, oh my god, that sounds shit. But having them all the same note really makes the kind of beat sound very unnatural, very, very like man-made. And it's not so much that you're trying to convince the listener that this was like made in a live studio, but like your brain can really register when it's just hearing like a repetitive pitched noise. It starts to sound a lot less like music and annoying noises you hear in a waiting room. So I made it just a simple kind of breakdown bridge bit where it's just a really simple clap. So. And that is basically how I made the jumps. Okay, now we're going to do the bass line. If you hear weird noises from outside, it's because the bin men are there and they're doing their thing. Okay, the bass line is simply just this. It's just a simple 808 bass line. Doesn't cover more than like 3 notes. So this is what it is. Yeah, that's just the bass line. It's just a simple sub-bass 808. We're gonna go into composition mode and we're gonna break down how I generally put it together. So we got main melody, grand piano. Then we got our counter melody, which is this part, which I haven't gone through yet. Now the counter melody is basically a little just piece of piano that I wrote. It's just a small piece of piano just to break down in between the kind of 2 choruses. So. That's it. And I just put that in between the main chorus, the first chorus. You know, I'm gonna color this in and give it a different color, nice little blue. So we got main melody, counter melody, drums, bass line. Now everything down here, these 3 bits, these are all different kind of vocal chops, small like voice samples. First one is this part that comes into the chorus with this girl's voice. And we've got little just sample chops here. This is the outro. And with the outro, I basically just kind of recorded some background noise on a train, and I basically muffled it with the EQ. So without the EQ, you can hear that it's actually a train person announcing where we are. yeah, but then with the EQ on, it kind of sounds like this underwater kind of noise. These two samples which are offline here but will be available in the real song are some ringtone noises. You'll see why when it comes to the sample at the end. And that is the entire song. So I'd categorize this part as in the sort of intro. This would be the intro. First kind of chorus, breakdown, bridge, pre-chorus, chorus, chorus, another breakdown, last verse, and this is just all a kind of outro. Yeah, that's it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, press the subscription button, and I'll be doing more of these in the future. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you guys soon.